Actually, I made a deal with my team. If they win the tournament this week,
You're not going to shave it off. I don't like your face.
that was a deal.
Can I say that?
What?
I said, I don't shave it off. I don't like your face.
We're in episode 1, our foundational episode. We're starting off in the free-flowing state for sure. Welcome to Fundamentals, hosted by Verbero. I'm Ryan Wynn. This is Andy Sutton. In between the two of us, we have 16 years of NHL experience.
Absolutely. What we need to do, and this is fundamental, we always need to double back to what is it we're fundamentally trying to talk about? Well, it's fundamentals. Fundamentals of anything.
Yeah.
How do you live your life, Ryan? Why do you live your life that way? Do you want to learn the same from me? Is that relative to one aspect or another? Those are the things I want to know about. Those are the things I want to understand. You know, because everybody's had a beautiful experience and a unique experience, and everybody has sort of like adopted logic and fundamentals supported by that logic relative to their own experiences. Like I think that's the most fundamentally important thing to understand about somebody. And if we're looking for growth and evolution as a human species, or as a human just living on Earth, trying to be the best version of ourselves, which most people are trying to be, then it's fundamental. Like let's talk about the important value sets. Let's learn from one another. Right. So we can reestablish these fundamentals that uphold everything we do.
Fundamental, like, in the sense that I think, so I want to preface this because now this will probably be the beginning of the episode. So, welcome to Fundamentals. We're jumping right into the conversation.
I honestly think what I just said will end up being like what we say about, hey, here's what we're doing. Come and talk to us.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's like the question is like fundamental to you. This Fundamentals hosted by Verbero, and then Fundamentals to you. It's not on a hockey basis. Like it's not that we're not going to talk about hockey. Obviously, we want to talk about the ongoings with Verbero because we're doing exciting stuff.
Yeah.
And we want to have guests. We want to have conversations, cover stories, whatever it is. 100%. Like whatever this turns into, it turns into. But I think it's important to mention, like you did just at the beginning, but just to give a little bit of background to the audience, is that fundamental means much more to you than just anything related to hockey. As you were saying, it's like universal connection. It's like understanding what we're doing, which is really hard to do, and finding presence and connection in all these avenues. How does it carry over? How does the idea of fundamentals and the idea for the podcast, how does it carry over and connect to what you're doing in the hockey world?
Well, maybe up a little bit, because the fundamentals that I have were developed, and they were developed through hockey, right? So a lot of the core principles and value sets that are inherent in me were cultivated through our amazing sport that we love, right? Yeah. And I was actually talking to David Backus yesterday about this, about how like some of this has been lost in the NHL. That a lot of those core values, those community values, the integrity with which the game was played for so long. So that comes through, and then like lo and behold, like I retire after a 16-year NHL career where I'd done one very specific thing. I'd figured out how to optimize it as best I could. It was filled with good, bad, ugly, otherwise pain, loss, suffering, joy, every aspect. And then all of a sudden, like you're a 38-year-old man and you're supposed to reinvent yourself, right? So for me, like to do that effectively, whether you're like building a business or planning your life, like it has to be intentional and purposeful relative to what it is you're trying to achieve. And if that's enlightenment, that's enjoyment, that's prosperity, that's great friendships, and love abound, right? Love abound through all of it, hopefully, and then owning your experience, and then living that experience, embodying that experience, hopefully inspiring other people, connecting with other people who are on the same journey. Ryan, like I'm almost 50, you're in your mid-20s, and you have the most incredible enlightenment relative to anybody I've ever met, and you're in your 20s. I can't even imagine where you're going to be when you're my age.
Yeah, I hope it continues to trend upwards. Also.
Oh, it's not going to stop, because the underlying of it, and this is fundamental, is curiosity. Yeah, you're a very curious spirit, and that curiosity mixed with intelligence, it allows you to disseminate information, which allows you to adapt evolutionary principles relative to the way you live your life and the things you think about.
I think it's like listening to you, it's just interesting because listening to you talk, like after your NHL career, you could have done anything. You could have gone and been a speaker, right? You could have gotten to philosophy. You could have gotten to, like, I mean, human programming, been a business coach. You know, you could have done anything, but you stayed in the and develop those things, but it is separate than hockey. So what is it that brought kind of the way you think about life, intention, connection, the development of relationships and integrity and all these things? What is it about that you saw in the industry, or the idea that you had for Verbero in the onset at the beginning, that kind of connected those things or made you want to continue in the hockey industry? Because you could have done anything. Right?
Yeah. I appreciate that, Ryan. And to be honest, like I tried a lot of different things too. Like I was almost hell-bent to prove that I could do all kinds of things outside of hockey. And I tried things. I failed at things. I dipped my toes in waters that like I had no idea about, and I just figured out how to learn how to swim. None of it was really as successful as, you know, maybe what I'd experienced in the past. It taught me like how real the real world is, and how really spoiled I probably was for the duration of my career. So there was great disparity in the two experiences where like now I'm immersed in the real world. None of really what I did over here helps me in any of these categories I'm working in.
Right.
Like they don't care that I was.
Did you find yourself comparing the feelings that you were getting with these post NHL career experiences, the things that you're trying outside of hockey, with the feelings that you had when you were competing in the NHL? Like, was that difficult?
Well, and that's kind of probably where I'm going to evolve. It's like, that's where it all ended up going, is I was like, okay, look, like what are the core value sets? And I say this all the time, like hockey's given me everything in my life. It's given me my family, the places I've traveled, the things I've been able to do because I was able to monetize it. It taught me principles of business. Right? If you think about it, you're in a corporate situation every day. You've got, 25 teammates, athletic trainers, managers, you're traveling, there's stress, there's duress, you've got people that write your contracts, and it's a business.
Yeah.
I ran a really successful business there for 16 years, figured out a way to survive, figured out a way to try to get more money.
Yeah.
It's business.
Yeah.
It's business. And so when I came out and I had so much intensity and passion, which didn't leave me.
Yeah.
And I talk to all kinds of athletes all the time. I'm not trying to, say David Backus's name to me. We had a long conversation about how challenging it was for him. Here's a guy who's a captain, like for a decade, doesn't need to worry about money, like is super smart, like connected guy. And he found it hard, and he had things in place. I mean, it's just, so it really forced me to look at my life in a way where I could carry success forward, how I could best carry success forward. And hockey is amazing because of all the values I mentioned previously, but it's also like, it's been a home base for me.
Yeah.
So in that relative security and understanding of what the world is,
right,
and the hockey world is, because I've lived it inside out and backwards, right?
Yeah.
I felt massively compelled to try to do this in a way that I thought would evolve the way things are done in hockey. And the timing of that and my ability to acquire the Verbero brand aligned. And then I was able to apply dual acumen, right? From like, almost at that time, like almost a decade out of the game.
Yeah.
And I'd been doing business, all kinds of different business in that time period.
And so, I mean, you talk about purpose, passion, intention, and kind of like the universal timing of things. It seemed like it kind of all came together in you taking over Verbero in 2019 and taking it like a completely different direction. Like the Verbero that I remember when I was a kid, and the Verbero that I came on to working for you is a completely different company.
Yeah, and look, it's still changing, right? Because we're still perfecting everything. Like that's the that's part of the culture that, like, if you're going to try to be a professional athlete, practice is like common denominator. Hard work is a common denominator.
Yeah.
Trying to perfect that shot to like do what it needs to do, or pass to do what it needs to do. That repetition is a big part of our DNA, as you know here. Like, and we're all hockey people. But yeah, it didn't feel like this always.
Yeah.
Because of the timing, what happened with the world shutting down and everything like that. But at its basis, yes, I was 100% prepared to do what needed to be done with Verbero.
Yeah.
The universe did not agree necessarily in 2020, and there weren't sales. But instead of sitting on our hands and complaining about it, we went out and how can we proactively, do something to accomplish something while people are laid up? So we build the rep force, which is what became our marketing arm, became our way to get spread into all the nooks and crannies of the country. So it was like a splash marketing when the world turned back on. Like Verbero's everywhere trying to sell custom to you. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, like, we start having successes. We try our own marketing, and then we get a superpower marketer, and he comes in and takes our great story, which is a great story, and helps to blow it up, and then for me, it's just like, with where I am today and loving this brand, like, and this is different for me now, like, and I had this conversation with my wife Ashley this morning about faith. And when I played hockey in the ACCHL, like, you're renting space, because you can be traded immediately. Your ice time subject to like what the coach thinks. I mean, there's a lot of emotion around that, as you can imagine, and you rent that space, and you always kind of feel that way. Like, your life can change tomorrow. You deal with all kinds of injuries and depression around that and stuff like that. It sounds ridiculous, but like, it's so nice now to be in a space, where I'm able to bring the values that are fundamental and important to a brand that's fundamentally different, and work with people that fit the vein and like speak the language and bleed the blood the same way that I do. And that's the locker room that I miss so much. My homies like to sit and have a conversation and,
create a locker room business.
Dude, just hang out. Hang out. Let's talk hockey.
I mean, that's the community that's so important, right? As you continue through that, everyone's searching for. Realistically, like, we just want somewhere where we like universally feel connected and accepted and like loved, right? And that's what a locker room is.
It is.
It's like we're all just looking for our locker room.
Yeah. And that hockey culture, right? Like, at least the one that I know, you stick up for each other. Yeah. I mean, if somebody takes a liberty with you, dude, I'm right in there, like, forsaking my own safety.
Loyalty.
There's a lot of it.
Yeah, but it's like in a world where the bar for loyalty, like loyal to a fault, is getting lower and lower. Yeah. Right. Everyone's looking for short-term happiness. We're gonna get way too cerebral, like way too early. First episode, people are like, but I mean, it's not a bad thing.
Hey, look, you love it or you hate it. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, they're important conversations.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you talk about something fundamentally different than what's going on in the hockey industry. What do you see, just for a baseline, like, what do you see as the most fundamentally different that Verbero is trying to do? I mean, the technological improvements, your gear, yes, like the customization aspect of things and gear, bringing professional customization to like the forefront, giving access to normal youth organizations, high school teams, college teams, whatever it is. But what do you see as fundamentally different of like what we're doing and, what you're kind of doing from the head point of Verbero?
It's really simple, and I get asked a lot, like who is Verbero, or like how is Verbero different? Yeah, and we're a best-in-class product company. So the intention there is to get our customers access to the best-in-class product, and then do it better, right? So, and then how do we do it better and differently, right? Well, we make it more accessible. There's unlimited customization capabilities available, as you mentioned. Service, right? How much in the world now, like, when's the last time somebody gave you such great service that you're like, whoa, I'm like blown away.
Where you feel actually connected and supportive.
So then the last piece is partnership. Like, I don't want Verbero to ever be considered a commodities provider. Yeah. Because, and what I say to you guys all the time, guys, we have to constantly find ways to bring value, right? So then we launched the Team Rewards program. I mean, which is really just, it's a benefit program to doing your custom with us. Right. So now we're in a category in and of our own. Right. And then outside of that, how do we make the user experience incredible?
Yeah.
Right? How do I give you updates so that you're not worried about where your product is in process? Right? How do I guarantee that it shows up on time so we never have a stressful interchange about something that we provide for you? And then how do we further support long term? Do you want us to host a jersey fundraiser? Do you want access to our sticks at exclusive pricing because you buy your jerseys and socks and shells and bags and stuff with us? It's value add stuff, which is back to human fundamentals.
I was gonna say it's literally like you can sum all of it up in just like the personalized aspect, like the personalization of our company. Like we talk about the theme this month really has been team behind your team, right? And like that for me, it's like we want to be the grease to your wheels, right? Like we want to make sure that everything is running smoothly. Part of that's Jake with his bloody fingers typing away back there, like taking care of, customer service when not tour, I mean, the entire, it's a team really like team first environment, but we're trying to extend our team.
Yeah.
It's not like we're not looking at things as accounts. We're looking at like, okay, who do we have as partners? And I think that's what differentiates us. We have a small organization. We want to treat them like, we want every organization to feel like you're our NHL team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, I think that real genuine connection that we develop with anyone that's doing work with us it differentiates us in the industry in itself.
Well, and Ryan, again, it's like, and for us, it is fundamental. Like we're vetting the opportunity too. Yeah. Because who we choose to surround ourselves with, who we hook our cart to, says a lot about us, and we're aware of that, and I mean, I'm thankful I got to wear a lot of really cool jerseys that were meaningful to a lot of people, and my name was on that jersey, and I got to play for that city, and I'll never forget how important that is. Yeah. That's the identity, right? So I believe we're protecting the identity more than because we're fighting it. We're upholding it with vigor, right? There's stuff built around that's gonna preserve that identity, right? And that's again too. So like if you're gonna get married, let's just say, right?
Didn't happen in real life or anything.
Well, one of the like core prerequisites is like, are you gonna fight as hard as I do for this common good? And then is common good, is it defined or is it subjective? Right? So we like to define it. We say, look, great. We'd love to work with you. Yeah. And here's the prescription for how this is going to succeed based on the items you need. Right. So we put a ton into the planning of it because great planning leads to great execution, no matter what it is you're doing. And then being able to sit shoulder to shoulder opposed to like, hey, I'm providing a good for you, and if the minute something goes wrong, like you don't want to work with me. Yeah. Well, what is that saying? Right. Like, well, but we did all these things like to help
take the workload off.
Take the workload off. Free up your team managers.
Graphic designers are doing your designs.
Give you money back because we ran the jersey fundraiser. You know what I mean?
100%. Which is tangible, right? Like we're actually feeding money back into your program. Then there's all the intangibles, which I think are the bigger differentiators for us. The intangibles, and then like to take it back to talking about custom and giving access to any type of organization. It's like my favorite thing. I just filmed a video that hasn't gone out yet, but about the Winter Classic sticks, right? You have Matty Benier like sitting down with like the Bauer graphic designer to do his custom Seattle Kraken stick for the Winter Classic. It's like we can literally do that we have been. Well, and we can do it for.
Well, and honestly, dude, like the only reason that they did that is because of what we do with custom graphic sticks. Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Right. And they did that for marketing value. They didn't do that because that's available to everyone.
No, it's not available to everyone.
Well, it is through Verbero.
Through Verbero, yes. Not through their company. Yeah. Their custom is name and color.
At a fraction of the price with guaranteed delivery certainty, minimum orders. I mean, it's just done in a more appropriate partnership and directed version. And not to over encumber you or not to tell you, look, you're not important enough, like, sorry, you're not big enough deal, you're not marketable enough for us, so we can't work with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that saws the legs off of grassroots. So I mean, when 100%. You really think about what's happened in hockey, like when Bauer goes direct on Bauer.com and CCM and Bauer then simultaneous say to 75% of their dealer base, you're not big enough for us to sell to you anymore. So you can no longer acquire our goods for resale. Yeah. So they said to like the business guy who works hockey in a small town, you're not gonna be able to make a living anymore. Think about that. Yeah. Fundamentally think about that.
Putting mom and pop shops quite literally out of business.
You're sawing the legs off of grassroots hockey. Yeah.
You're making hockey corporate.
But for me, it's like perfect. You drew your line in the sand to try to save your fledgling business by trying to get the most margin and sell direct, because you can't make enough. Your stick's $400. You can't make enough margin like to care for people or keep that, or figure out how to scale that division of your business. So it's opened a lot of doors, and I think never more than now have those brands had less value amongst the people that used to be loyal.
Right.
Retail's dying. We know that everywhere, right? We trust online because it's proven. People run amazing direct-to-consumer businesses. In the team space, when you work with Verbero, there's no middleman. We are the manufacturer. We can tell you down to the stitch where your order is in process.
Right.
Who else can do that? None of these other brands can do that.
Right.
And then we created software, like customer-facing software that allows us to input those data points and then be able to tell you what's going on with your order.
Right. And I mean, we're on call. I mean, Jack, I don't think he sleeps.
No, he doesn't sleep. He never stops.
He doesn't sleep.
He's always.
I think that's like literally he's on call like 24/7 too.
The guys look, and I'm not trying to set like falsehoods about it. Like,
no,
we work really hard and we're really attentive. And it's to a point where it's like, it almost looks like we're doing it 24/7.
Right.
If I'm honest, the team does an incredible job managing our customers' needs in a way that, again, is like super partnership focused. And partner, if you ask me, hey, Sutsi, can you go do this or that for me? And I'm not going to ghost you for 7 days and not give you a response. It's back to like fundamental human behavior. It's like, put a small pleasantry in the email. Like, we don't have to get to the point where like it's all transactional.
I think that's too like, it's all connected. We have a team. Everyone's on a first name basis. Everyone's a friend as well as a coworker, as well as
Well, and guess what? And there's just everybody there's actually people. Right. It's not like Amazon and just like a bot that you send a message to. Like there's always a real person here doing something relative to something our customer needs. That's really important to know, because Amazon will deliver your stuff on Sunday. They'll have some sort of customer service available on Sunday.
I mean, we just got, it's like, and I'm going to move on from this because I want to talk about some of the current events right now of like this month, because there's so much shit going on. But it's like, we just get excited about cool shit too. Like, we love working with teams that want to do cool stuff.
Totally.
That we can help promote. And it's like, if you have a 10U girls program that did cool jerseys with us, like, we want to promote the heck out of you.
Well, and Ryan, just quickly to your point there, absolutely. And like, I didn't realize this until more recently, but like, you're an amazing marketer. You understand our business and you understand the value.
Some of my tires today.
It's fine. You deserve it, and you understand the value of our partners, right? We're also the other value add that we bring. We help you market what it is you're doing and what it is we're helping you do.
And it's only going to get better, because now you're accepting the cost to put in some extra orders so that we can properly photograph and videograph big kind of launches that we're doing with teams.
100%.
Right. And so it's only going to get better. It's like, we hadn't been doing that previously. We've been doing as much as we can to put value into the collaboration or to help out with it. Do breakdowns of the videos, me sitting down talking to the camera, whatever it is. But now we're taking it even a step further.
100%.
And it's going to keep going. I mean, it's an evolution like you're talking about.
It never stops. I mean, none of it ever really stops, and I think part of the reason that I'm like able to be peaceful and present is the fact that like I kind of like rebirth daily and I attack that. I know in my mind, like, I attack that day. If I'm thinking about tomorrow, I'm not really that present on today. Right. So, but there's a delta there, because it's not reckless abandon. So part of presence is like evaluating the day against like where it is you're trying to go in the grand scheme of things. And then it's making micro adjustments like to get there. So that's like long-term planning is a big part of it, which is intention. What are the great intentions we're trying?
But it's not getting lost in psychological time. That's like, I'm guessing you're pulling from Alan Watts, but I'm not positive because I haven't read it yet, because that's so dense. But like Power of Now, same exact message. It's like the psychological time versus, yes, you have to plan your life. Like there's a certain extent, you can't just go, like you're saying, reckless abandon into the day. Like, I don't care what happens tomorrow or whatever. So you have to plan your life. But if you're living your life constantly fearing what's happening tomorrow or about something that you can't control, yet, then
the future one is the one that really like gets me, to be honest, because it's not a very worthwhile investment if you're removing yourself from the present to overly think about the future. That's the crazy one, because it's fictitious. It's completely fictitious. You're creating a completely fictitious and subjective arrangement that's really like changing your present value set relative to something that I can almost guarantee you is not going to happen. Certainly not as you've created it in your mind. Right. So we create all this emotion around this space, and the space's definition. It has faces, places, things.
Our egos. Our egos are creating that, right?
100%.
It's taking a feeling that's coming from you not being present, and then building this idea, this image that you're projecting about what could possibly happen, which is giving us then feelings that's not really our feelings. It's our ego projecting feelings onto us that we're allowing to overtake us. It just changes the way, like.
Well, and
it's so difficult.
It's either fear-based or it's fantasy-based, if you really think of it. And so much of it now, with everybody being more afraid than ever, with COVID and loss of control and different things, it's like there's a lot of that fear-based, sort of projection system, which is what it is. It's a projection. And then a lot of people living in a projected reality, which is cuckoo bananas, right? Cuckoo bananas. And then the past is like, look, the past is the past. It's super important in the present to assess that thing that happened, and then to be able to very quickly like catalog it and place it, because you've got to get back. You got to get back, but you have to have adopted the understanding relative to that thing. And if it's a mistake, you can't keep beating yourself up and drag that forward. Or like, a bad relationship that you have to attend to all the time. Whatever the thing is, you can't. We can, as people, I don't think, like drag that into our presence and have an affect on everything around us.
It affects the decisions you're making for negative.
We have to move. We have to be able to move. And that's one of the things that I appreciate the most now about like not having to be told where to be, when, and how long to be there, etc. Like to own that free space and be able to be on an expedition of sorts. You know what I mean? Be a little bit more like free flow in carving this new path, but like be able to stop and smell the roses too, right? Because that's so important, right? To celebrate in times when there's something to celebrate, which is most days, by the way. So then you kind of, it gets to like thankfulness. So to have appreciation.
Gratitude.
Gratitude. Like if we can't connect with gratitude, like for almost every exchange that we have along the way, as innocuous as it might be, like, shame on us, because there are so many people that are in completely different situations.
100%. Now this shit's fundamental.
It's all fundamental.
I know.
Like it really is.
I know. I wonder, like, I'm out of curiosity, like in entertainment, for my own entertainment, I wish there was a poll. Of like, people like looking at you in your NHL career, and like the personality they'd expect you to have, and like then like sitting down with you, like talking with you, I feel like people would shit their pants. Like it's just like, you're this 6'6", 250-pound guy putting people through walls, and then you sit down and have like, for me, extremely cerebral viewpoints on life that I learn from and pick from all the time. I feel like I'm always telling my wife, I'm like, I got this from Andy. Like it's what I do. To switch gears though, talking about the present, or I guess like a day ago, we had the ACCHL All-Star teams, Premier and Elite, two teams that you worked with Boris to coordinate these Slovenian and Croatian kind of exhibition games with these ACC All-Star teams. Mike Wally, obviously, like you went to a bunch of events for the ACC last year. I was at one of them, was able to meet him and Andy Musto, and he wanted to put this thing together. Kind of. It's in the realm of everything that we're trying to do, growing the game, being the team behind that conference that helps everything well-oiled. And what do you think about kind of all that coming together? And then we'll talk about the sexy uniforms after, but like...
I guess it's back to, again, it's like, I've never been short on ambition. And I've thankfully been able to spend a lot of time with Mike Wally, and I've really gotten to know him, and he does such a great job with the ACCHL, truly. And
big names, UNC, Duke,
dude,
freaking NC State.
Well, and backstory of that, like we're talking about a man who was a rear admiral. Right. and that's a lot of metal. Like most people can't walk with a jacket that's that heavy,
Yeah.
you know, and Mike's, so again, back to like Mike and I share a lot of the same common value sets, you know, and we've talked about how the military side and the hockey side share a lot of common core values, actually, interestingly. So we hit it off right away.
Right.
We talk a lot about like, you know, the future, how can we make continue to make the ACCHL like, you know, one of the best conferences, and we talk about growth of the game. Mike loves the game. He's a hockey lover through and through. So one of the things was like, you know, I've always wanted to put this European trip together. And I was like, you know, we talked about it, and I never said, oh, I can do it, we can do it. And then I started to like fish around a little bit for some information. I started asking Boris a few things about, you know, if this is possible, what it would look like. Yeah. And it started there. It started as like back of a napkin and turned into something that, you know, lo and behold, ended up probably being the greatest experience that these players and coaches will ever have. Yeah. Mike Wally himself said to me in a text message, this is the single greatest thing I've ever done in hockey. And this is a man that's devoted his life to the game, and this is the greatest thing he's ever been part of.
It's unbelievable.
I feel so honored to be to have been a part of it.
Yeah. I mean, seeing the images, and we're going to get more from, I think, Harrison as well.
Yeah.
Like, I'm jealous as shit. I wish I had an opportunity like that when I was in college. I mean, they were in these gorgeous areas, touring the capital of Croatia.
Oh, yeah.
Zagreb, I think it is. I'm learning these names. I'm learning these fucking names. They're played on Lake Bled. The Red Bull Academy of Hockey.
Yeah.
It was insane. Yeah. I've never seen facilities like it. Yeah. It's like, and so now these ACC players are getting this experience. They also cleaned up. Won a majority of the games over there.
Played great. Yeah.
Played great. And they were playing against some local professional players. They were playing against U20, like training to make hockey their career, right? Like 100%. This is like legitimate competition. Not only is it legitimate competition, it's a legitimate experience. Who knows how many of those kids have even been to Europe? I haven't been to Europe still. I haven't been out with fucking Bond. Yeah. You know, so it's like being able to, for you to take a brand and be like, hey, we're going to partner with your conference, like we're talking about, and really putting together the logistics, making sure that everything's going to be taken care of. You had liaisons for them so that they could, you know, have different activities that they could do. You know, when they were there, they kind of had tour guides to a certain extent, and then they got world-class competition, and then they come back and they finish off their season with their respective ACC teams. Like, it was amazing. I wish I would, like, after the fact, I was like jealous. It's like, I wish I could have been there to fucking cover it.
I've never played in something that cool, to be honest. Like and it's just back to like, it's really simple because you just think about what would be great for you, right? And have these guys show up and like be decked to the nines and stuff that we just designed, we built, we sent, we, you know, equipped the.
How much were you a part of the designs?
They were my designs.
Were they? It's like I'm trying like to come up with the best terms. Like Green Goblin had a baby with the Avengers, and just made these nasty mitts and the shells.
Don't let me take all credit because like Evelyn, our graphic designer, is really good at like speaking Andy.
She's really good.
She's really good. Like, really good. She's really good at her job, and she, you know, I can lay it down, and then she comes up with usually like 2 or 3 or 4 concepts. And then we work together to refine those concepts. I socialize them for approval, but like in the end, like these ones I'm picking. Like I wanted them to be perfect, and they looked awesome. The players looked so awesome.
It's the accents that make the difference, right? Yeah. First of all, the green unis were my favorite by far. Yeah. They were clean as hell. And the patch just looked, it was like the patch looked even better on the green unis because it had that separation of like, okay, it was the dark patch, right, with that like section.
Well, and Ryan, again, like something simple, right? Like if you think about, you're going in, you're going to play a bunch of teams. And ordering 2 jersey sets is a pain. It costs a lot more money. It's like what kind of look can you create where you can do a singular jersey set and like players can go in and they can look bang and they can play a team whether they're white, black, navy, anything else, and you've got this really strong contrasting look. It's just fun stuff. It's just
got that V team green, baby.
V team green.
Got that V team.
It's a strong color too.
Yeah, it's strong.
It's bright.
That's why the gloves
are
sexy.
Yeah, dude, it's energetic. I mean, you feel energetic. You put that color on.
Yeah.
You know, I wear the Dallas Stars 3rd jersey. I'm just like, I want to play that.
That's what, dude. Our designs are, I think, for the most part, I think our designs are still ahead of the time. And I think like some teams have like been taking advantage of it. Like Florida Gators, Gator skins last year, like those were nuts. The Pat Summit Blues, Tennessee, but like those are kind of a historical throwback. Like I think we're open to anything.
Oh yeah.
It's like we're not going with a classic templated hockey jersey look. It's like, what do you want to do?
And we're starting to drive the conversation and be like, look, no, you check this out.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because sublimation changes the game. You can do anything you want to the base pattern, and it's not just a jersey and socks. You can do it to the shell. You can do it to the glove material.
Yeah.
Right? So now, if you think about it, the design it's head to toe, and it can flow.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like, do you want one stripe or two?
No, yeah.
You know, do you want tackle to it? Like, there's so
That's
many.
why the full game wear design is so important, because it doesn't flow. It doesn't flow otherwise, right? You have the accents on the shells, like you had the stars up the side of the ACC uniforms, and then you have like the perfectly coordinated gloves.
Yeah.
Again, which, you know, you could do as custom as you want, cuff space names, whatever.
Totally.
And then to segue that to, now we got the Savannah Classic coming up, where you get the Pat Summit, like throwback colors with Tennessee. We got another big University of Florida launch. And then the weekend after that, we're in an outdoor game with Oregon launching their yellows, which haven't even been launched yet. Jack, we actually can't even publish. Are we
allowed to talk about this?
Jack, are we allowed to talk about it?
Wait a minute, Jack, did you sign the NDA? I messaged you from now.
So then we have that with the Washington jerseys, which have an AI-generated outdoor logo
You
for the
can't,
Huskies.
dude, you can't make it up.
You can't.
It's marketing gold, and we're not doing it to try to get marketing. We're doing it because we're just doing cool shit.
It's cool shit.
It's cool shit.
fun
And
as
you
hell.
should talk about it. You should pick it up.
Yeah.
Somebody beyond us should be picking this up and saying, "Can you believe what these guys are doing in custom?"
Yeah.
Because it's that cool.
Yeah, it's
It is
cool
that
stuff.
cool.
Yeah, I mean, and part of that is like, again, being an actual partner and contributing to like the design. It's like Washington's like, hey, we're having issues licensing wise with this logo. We're like, let's fucking make our own.
Well, dude, and contributing to the marketing. Like, you're going into these events.
Yeah.
To be on the front line. Yeah.
It's gonna end up costing us more now.
That's fine. It's like to be on the front lines with the players in the room, right? To get the reaction, because it matters, right? We always just say, and it was like tongue in cheek when I played, and guys would wear like fancy suits, whatever. And
Yeah.
you'd be like, hey, Smitty, you look great tonight. He's like, bud, look good, feel good, play good.
Now
You know?
people are wearing like bucket hats and like.
But either way, it's like, you know, the conventions are going away, and that's another conversation. But point being,
Yeah.
you know, when you look good and you feel good and stuff's buttoned up and you look cohesive, you shouldn't show up to the rink looking like a hodgepodge of people.
Right.
Right. Your bags should match, your gloves should match, your unis should match. They should look new. Because think about it too, like each year or each tournament, each event, whatever, it's a new opportunity to write a new script.
Right.
Right, it's a new page, and you can do what you want on it, right? When the ice floods, it's the same way. I always thought of it that way. It's like, you know, this is blank. There's not a scratch on it.
Yeah.
Like you can make anything happen, and that's like what I love about hockey so much. And it's always so fast. Like the changes in it are so fast. You know, you can go down and miss an open net and go the other way and get the game-winning goal, and it's game over. It's, you know, it's the way our great game goes. It happens quickly, and then you know how you look in that is such a big part of the process.
How you look, kind of the excitement that you're bringing to the fans of the community. It has everything to do. It's a blank slate for a lot of these programs, especially these bigger schools down south, to create an environment around hockey that's fucking fun and new and energetic and not cut off by, like, obviously we want to work with NCAA teams too, but like club hockey right now, it's the funnest fucking thing because they're not regulated too much.
Well, and honestly, they're innovative. They're not afraid.
Yeah.
And they see the value in creating a brand behind what it is you do. Because even if you're a minor hockey association, all right. So let's say you've got 500 players, 500 families.
Yeah.
For those 500 families, that's where you spend a big bulk of your time and money.
Yeah.
And you should look cohesive. You should look awesome. You guys are a team. The family's a team. You know what I mean? Grandma and grandpa is part of the team.
Yeah.
And in that, like, there's opportunity too, because if we help you create an incredible jersey look, that's awesome. And then like people want that. Well, we do a jersey fundraiser. Grandma can get a jersey. You know, aunt and uncle can get a couple jerseys, and we give back the profits.
I mean, major events, we're doing wholesale jerseys and actually helping them with sales at the event. We got salesman Jack over there, and he's got 1,000 different titles. He's going to be selling the jerseys for Washington and Oregon at the outdoor game.
Well, it's like, you know, it's
Everyone's going to be wondering what Jack looks like. After this, we reference him like 20 times.
well, he's got 9 different names for his real name, depending on what he's doing. But he's a Swiss Army knife. But it's it's back to just sort of like, how can we be the best partners? How can we interface with you in a way that's deeply meaningful from a partnership standpoint?
Right.
And how can we help you monetize your program and give the players, the fans, the families, the best possible experience?
Right.
I mean, it's not. So if you look at that, and then you just understand the psychology of the player, psychology of the parent, psychology of the director, the team manager, and then look at that relative to what you're offering as a program, and solve some of those pain points. And namely, it's like, hey, we're going to over communicate, and oh, by the way, like all these things that you used to do, you don't need to do that. This is our business. Like we make these products.
Right.
You worry about the families, the kids, the games, the young people you're molding, and let us worry about like what you look like when your stuff arrives, like all that stuff. So the partnership level for me in that is fundamental, because if you see the value in that, you're my kind of partner. And then if you're willing to sit down and say, how can we you're a business, we're a business, right? We offer a lot of things over here that are going to massively affect your business in a positive way.
Yeah.
Now let's find the center point relative to what it is, and let's just get stuff scheduled. And let's put it on a schedule where we get alerts where like you don't have to remember, oh, the jerseys have to go in by May 30th to get here by September 5th, whatever the parameters are.
Yeah.
If you need them by X date, we back the whole program up based on like when you need what you need, and then you hear about all the things that we can add into your program, and if you like them, they can be scheduled. Like it's really simple.
That's a perfect place. And I mean, you brought it all the way back to, and that relationship in itself, the partnership in itself is fundamental. That's a good first epi.
It's great.
Dude, your flow could not be disrupted by 2 camera equipment failures and fucking all over the place. We delayed the start of the podcast because my flow was messed up.
These things are part of the flow.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see where this goes. We're going to be sitting down monthly to start and doing some on-event interviews, I'm sure. Maybe we'll have a Jack be the specific guy that runs the on-event interviews. That'd be pretty funny. We'll see what happens.
No, Jack should be in them when you guys.
He's a color man.
Together.
Are you gonna be like Glenny Balls? You're just eating the ice cream like in between us.
No, he's when you go, Ryan. You're delivering, you're interviewing, whatever. Jack is the color guy who's just. Arden's been into this show called Holy Moly. Have you seen this show, the Steph Curry putt game?
Oh no, yeah. I saw like the advertisements for it.
And they have a comedian that's on their panel, and he's the color guy, and he is freaking hilarious.
He's hilarious.
Rob Riggle. Do you know who Rob Riggle is?
I don't think so.
So Rob Riggle, I don't know if Jake's listening to this. Rob Riggle is the guy that is the cop in The Hangover that electrocutes them when they get put in the thing. That's Rob Riggle.
Okay.
And he's freaking hilarious.
Okay, that's
like he's just
awesome.
off the cuff the whole time saying super offensive, weird stuff.
Yeah.
And then these people are like on
Holy Moly on a network television.
network
show?
television.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
He's just letting it fly like that?
It completely fly.
What an
And they let him do
absolute
it. They let him do it.
That's like not even.
I don't know how
it's coming back. It's like I think that society is like it's reverting back to like, hey, we can let comedians be funny.
Almost every episode, he wears weird golf pants, and he puts his leg up on the counter next to the like play-by-play guy, and he thrusts like.
Are you serious?
This crazy
It's
pants.
like Jason Bateman when he's in fucking dodgeball.
What? Yeah, it's hilarious.
All right. Well, anyway, there's a lot more to come with Fundamentals. Fundamental, hosted by Verbero. Good first epi.
Yeah, buddy.
Good night, boss.
Yeah.